If you guys have followed along on my channel the last few years, you know that Milo has been a really great forage that the deer have been attracted to and really just devoured before I ever even get to deer season, really. And so the last couple of years, I've tried to come up with ways to make it last longer, as opposed to them it putting on heads at the beginning of August and them eating it off the heads before it ever gets to deer season. Last year I planted it. You can look behind me here at that end where you see that green stuff growing up down there. I have chicory and clover growing down there this year, and I'm crop rotating, which I talked about a couple videos back. Where I'm standing, we've had a good stand of clover for the last few years. Last year I noticed it starting to thin a little bit, and so this year, while there was still some clover in there, I had Dad come last night and he mowed all this down. I've taken the disc and run over it, even though it probably doesn't look like it on the video, and I've tried to expose some dirt to get some seed to soil contact here. And what I'm adding to the Milo this year is it's going to be Milo. Last year I put Grow Forage Brassica with it, which we had a really good stand of in the Milo as well. But this year I'm also going to add some cowpeas to it. Now, they say with cowpeas that the hardest part about those is keeping the deer off of them. So we'll see what happens. But I thought if I could add one more forage to it that maybe grows a little faster or grows at the same speed as that Milo, maybe that'll keep the deer, give them some other forage to eat, that'll keep them off of the Milo for a little bit longer, make it last a little bit longer. I'd like for it to get all the way into later in the fall as that sort of later resort, last resort food source for the deer. But we'll see what happens. I mean, the worst case is they eat it all in the early season or even before season starts, and I've got them attracted to our food plots, and there's other things they can eat here with clover and chicory and so on. But that's going to be the goal here, is we've mowed this off, we've disked it, we're going to broadcast the Milo, broadcast the cowpeas, broadcast the Grow Forage Brassica, spray it with liquid fertilizer. We'll run over it with the harrow, work that fertilizer into the soil a little bit. We've got a really good chance of rain this week, and it's June 1st right now. So ideal time to plant your crops like your Milo and Egyptian wheat and screening, which I've also planted today. And hoping to see that get going, explode out of the soil, and get some good early growth so that it can get ahead of any hot, dry weather that we may have, even though Milo is sort of a fan of your humid, hot weather like a sweet corn or a field corn would be. So that's the plan. In a perfect world, you would have a grain drill that you could no-till into your soil, get those seeds at the proper depth they need to be, get them directly into that soil, seed to soil contact where there's also already some moisture in the soil. But when you're limited on equipment and you just work with what you have. So I'm going to talk about that in another video sometime, about just how you can do food plotting with less equipment. You can do food plotting without having a grain drill, without having big equipment, tractors, so on. I'm fortunate enough that we have a couple of tractors that I can use. We have a disc. We have your pretty basic food plot equipment for your average food plotter. But it's definitely quite possible to still get your seed to soil contact. It really just depends on your desire. If you're willing to put in the sweat equity, you can use things like hand rakes, you can use fire, things like that. I'll talk about that in another video, but you can definitely get it done regardless of the equipment or lack of equipment that you may have. Thank you for watching Farming for Whitetails. We'll see you next time.